All right, traders, to watch this video for Tuesday, January 16th, I always start off showing the SPY. Incredibly strong, just straight up here, new all-time highs, feels like every day. And the only reason I look at that is I want to make sure there's no shock events, where the market's getting killed before I build a list of potential longs for Tuesday. I should say potential long trades. Keep in mind I'm an intraday trader, cash every night. So TNTR, relatively new issue. You can see came public here in looks like June 30th, 2017. Kind of formed this sloppy inverse head and shoulders. I'll get it right. I don't base a lot of trades off of pattern names, but anyway, nice volume spike on this one and closing pretty strong, and that would have been on Friday. So it's certainly worth watching for a continuation play. Keep in mind this big spike here was still 1.3 million shares, so it kind of tells you that this is a thinner stock, but certainly worth watching. GENE had this big spike here inside day, and then if you go to 15-minute candles, you can start to kind of turn back up. I think that one's worth watching. I like the recent big moves. This candle here was 89 cents to $1.79. This candle here, 144 to 205 on an intraday basis. So whenever I see that kind of action and then some kind of bullish behavior, it's worth watching. Remember, I try to find stuff that can make a really nice intraday percentage move, which generally you won't get from trading an Apple or a Google. So that's why I live in this realm of the lower priced stocks. MYSZ had this huge move 3 days lower, then had news on Friday morning. So it gapped up and actually was pretty strong for most of the day. Pretty impressive. So I definitely want to watch this one for, I don't have a setup, but we'll see how it trades on Tuesday. See if we get a low risk red to green setup, something like that. Certainly worth having on watch. WPCS, very strong breakout on Friday. See if we can get a follow through. That one needs to be watched all week. A lot of times you don't want to trade it after a big percentage move the very next day, but it's definitely going to be on watch all week. YUMA breaking out of a, I don't know, 5-month resistance area of around $1.40 on strong volume. See if we get a setup in that one. I believe that's a lower priced oil and gas play, so let's keep our eyes on. And speaking of oil, oil USO here is what I use to gauge oil, very strong. So these might be worth watching. Your UMAs, your GBRs, stuff like that. Those might all of a sudden catch a bid this week. So let's see. NCTY, big spike here, and then an inside red day on lower volume than that big move on Thursday. So this one it closed at $1. Certainly worth watching. It looks better, I think, maybe when you go to 15-minute candles. You can see this big spike, another decent spike here, another one here. I like this setup, believe it or not, even though it's kind of weird looking on the daily. I like the recent action, certainly worth watching. NBEV gapped up, let's see, Thursday, and then another red day on Friday. Massive volume for this stock on Thursday. Kind of quieted down on Friday. I'd like to see kind of an afternoon range break if I had my choice of what I would love to see, but it doesn't have to. We have a few ways to play stuff like this. Certainly worth watching on Tuesday. TNDM had the gap up on earnings. Let's see, this would have probably been Wednesday. Ended up hitting 4, lower day, and then another lower day on declining volume. Kind of have a gap fill almost here. Maybe it did fill the gap. I like this one for a turn back up on Tuesday. PTIE, massive volume. Traded over 30 million shares. This would have been what, Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. And hasn't broken a previous day's high since. You had a lower high here, lower high here, lower high here. All the way down to 368,000 shares on Friday after over 30 million. That's kind of weird action, but this one is worth watching. Again, I'd like to see an afternoon breakout in it, but we'll see. Goes on watch. CVO, again, I like this pop here. Kind of had a secondary one here. Came back down, tested support, and seems to be trying to turn back up. Had a big spike on an intraday basis on Friday. This one's worth watching. And lastly, I've got CNIT. I had this big gap up and a rip and then reversed. And looked like it was coming all the way back down. Next thing you know, it's catching a bid. And then an inside day on Friday, kind of closing right at that hole number 2. This one's worth watching. And I like the inside day. Let's go to 15s real quick here. So you had this nice spike on Thursday that went to 318, and then Friday just kind of flirting with the whole number 3 break all day. Definitely worth watching. We'll add pre-market gappers to our list on Tuesday before the market opens, and between that list and then what we've got here, we should find plenty to trade on Tuesday. So enjoy the rest of your Monday holiday, and we'll see everybody on Tuesday.